So, just a quick recap. This was Javier's code. He added the Spanish mailing address, nationality, Spanish ID. Nationality is a drop down. He wanted the flag to appear and was having some issues on having the flag to appear. So, in his code, he had this extra code that I commented out, and there's some logic here saying, if nation is American, uh, do this extra stuff. And I thought a simpler approach was to just set up the image file to match what is happening in code. So just change the file names to American.jpg and Spanish.jpg instead of being UK, Spain, and US. Um, so they match what's in the actual selector in the HTML. So if we go to the HTML, the selector was American and Spanish. So we just made those match, and then that made the logic a lot easier for that. So I just commented out a bunch of code and made a couple of changes in the display contact. So that is that. So I will get that uploaded here. Okay, now let's do Sarah's. Okay. So let's clean these up so I don't get confused. Sarah, you're going to have to send that as a zip file. When you send just JavaScript via email, the UWGB email system um, blocks those. So just if you could just zip up your whole folder and send the whole thing, I think that'll work better. So let's move on to Coles 17. Oh, are you taking a nap? No, that's cool. I wish I could take a nap. I stayed up way too late. All right, let's open this up. I don't know why it's not opening in Chrome automatically. I'll have to look into that later. Okay, so what do we got going on here? Oh, okay. Yeah, I could do that. What is going on here? Oh, okay, okay. So just take a look at that. Why is Adam being stupid? Okay, so oh, okay, okay. So undeclared set internal. Okay, so let's look at that. 86. So what you actually want here is set interval, not set internal. Um, and then you need to um, give it an interval. So let's see. This. This is this. Oh, you did. Okay, it's just on here. Okay. This is this. This is this. Yeah. Okay. And this is this. Yeah. So I think that's just that. So say this. Okay. So hopefully the other ones are similarly easy. Okay, dealer hand on 205. Let's look at that. Okay, so you don't have a dealer hand. You have a player hand, but you don't have a dealer hand. So dealer hand, dealer hand, dealer hand, dealer hand. So those are all fine. Let's look at this one, land 349. Okay, here you just have a minus sign instead of an equals on 340 on 350. Okay. Okay, let me just add it in here. Boop, boop, boop. Huh? No, you don't add it on line 209. You'd add it up here. Because you're declaring the variable. Okay, so I fixed that and that. So I'm just gonna let's see what we got now. Very tolerable. Okay, and then 487. We are missing an underscore here. Yep. Yeah, I'll send this back to you once we clean these up. So spacing. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, so I should just be able to beautify this. Okay. Yep, all good. Oh, to fix all those, I just ran beautify. If you're an Atom, you can just run beautify. On 487 or whatever. Uh, yeah, because I think you had like this or something. I just added an underscore because you're missing an underscore on that. Or player score, maybe? I don't know. It was one of those. Uh, that might be the wrong line because I probably moved too fast on it. Let me just go back a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. So right around the line 487. Yeah. 487 or 486 maybe. 488 maybe. I don't know. Dealer score less than this one, 485. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I think that's just a. Oh, whoops. Um, I think that's just a setting. Actually, that's a great question. Sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head. Um, yeah. Well, it's control comma. I think on Windows for here anyway. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, show indentation indicators. Show invisible. I think it's this one. Show invisibles. Yeah, show invisibles shows the dots. Yep, and then show indent guide is probably the lines. Yeah, so those two things. Yep, yep. I like that because it shows if I have extra spaces on a line. Because otherwise, I just don't see those. Okay, so you have all these. I don't have to send this to you. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right. So let's see. Okay, Sarah has her zip. Let's look at Sarah's now. Well, geez, how much stuff do we have to look at, man? All right, all right. Let's see. Did I save it? What is happening? Don't open 20 tabs just because I clicked it too many times. Okay, I'm going to quit out of this. It's being too stupid right now. It's, yeah. I mean, most good editors do take a little bit of time, but yeah, yeah. I'm not. Okay, so if I hit new, does nothing happen? So we're saying? Okay, all right, let's see what our console says. We have any logic errors going on? Oh, we do. Type error game setup is not a function. 542. Okay. I don't know. Give me a second here. Adam is still being stupid. I don't know why either. It's taking a while to close all my tabs. Closing tabs should never take long, right? We can all agree on that, right? Yeah. That that wouldn't make it go faster, but yeah. Okay. So what line did we say? 566 probably. Oh, okay. 540 game setup is not a function. Okay. So in game, do you have something called setup? Um, do. Why is it saying it doesn't exist? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so what I'm thinking is at the bottom of this, you might not be returning my. That's all I can think of here. Yeah. Yep. 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 This needs to be here because the outer function, this is game right here. Okay. You were putting this inside of something else. So, ooh, I don't even know what that was inside of. Stand. Yeah, it looks like yeah. You actually have some issues here. So you have to have stand. You had bust and winner inside of stand. So there we go. So let's re-beautify this. Yeah. Okay. Now let's give it a whirl. Did you see how I kind of debugged that? Okay. All right. All right. So the new button does not look like it worked yet, though. Add event listener. That's a capital L on add event listener. Sorry that JavaScript is so crazy. Okay. So that will help. It should at least do something now. New. Oh, maybe not. Oh, went from one error to two errors. Okay. Cannot set proper inner HTML of null. What are you trying to do? Okay. Okay. Update by ID. Inner HTML. Update by ID. Oh, no. Other way around. Um, uh, wait, what? Oh, wait. Okay. By ID element. Okay, but where do we call it? 289. Okay. Oh, this says Waller message. I bet it's wallet message. Yeah, typos will get you every time. You know. Right, right. There we go. Boom! It's doing stuff. Boom, boom. You lose. Okay, that looks pretty good. Stand. You win. Yeah. Oh, yep, yep, yep. So you so under hit, I think, or stand maybe. Um, yeah. So stand, you didn't have this. This was missing, and so these you ended up putting inside of stand, which makes no sense. Yep. And so then you had an error probably in JSLint. So you're like, oh well, this has to go somewhere, and it maybe gave you the syntax error down here. So you're like, I don't know, I'm gonna put it here, right? So yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So this pretty much works. So I'm just going to zip this back up and send it back to you. Yeah. So now we can move on to Sarah's thing. Do, 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 do. You can still make this better. You don't have to leave it at that. But yeah, I think it mostly works. Yep. Yep. Looks like you had it all figured out except for mostly just a few typos in that one stand curly brace thing. So good. All right, let's get this downloaded here. Get these deleted. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Trying to delete these as I go because everybody's things are called address book and address book starter. I'm trying to keep my sanity. All right. All right. So call this address book Sarah. Okay, so let's close this. Close this. And open this up. Okay. Okay, that looks nice. All right. So you're having an issue with getting your button to work, right? This age button, Sarah? Okay. So what do we want the age button to do? It's on line 195. Oh, well, look at the code, she says. All right. You're the kind of programmer everybody hates. I'm just kidding. It's all good. Okay. Okay. And it's not going to work because I didn't finish is calculate the age. Oh, because you have the birth date. Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah. Let's see. Open. Add this. Okay, so we have some problems right out of the gate here. Okay, so let's check. Let's inspect this right away. See if we can tackle these errors right out of the way. Uncaught syntax error, missing this on line 202. So let's drag this into here. And I'm recording all this for you guys, so if I go too fast, hopefully you can review the video. But if I go too fast, please stop me. But all right, so round 202. What was our error again? I have a short memory. Parenthesis after the list. Okay, what is it showing here? So 202 in here is var age date sub. Okay. Yeah, so you have, so this, you either need to have a comma or a closing parenthesis here because you're passing parameters. And so this, I don't know what date sub is. Do we have date? Is date sub somewhere in here? Is that maybe at the top? Or does date sub not exist? Or were you just hoping that that was a thing that would work? I put that to subtract the age with the actual date. Um, what's the name? Okay, okay. Um, so what you usually have to do, and this is just a good, like oftentimes different programming languages will have a better, like have simpler ways to do it. Like they might have like a date sub method of some kind to do that sort of thing. But what we typically have to do in different programming languages is you'll have to take the date. You'll have to make sure that the date is converted into um, uh, uh, it's basically called like Unix system time. Um, and then you subtract those numbers. So that's the number of seconds since 1970. So, and it turns out to be a problem if anybody's like before 1970. So you might have to come up with some other method for that. But basically, you want to convert the date into some kind of an integer, and then just do the subtraction on the integer, and then convert it back. So, so you could do that. So, and you kind of have this actually. You could just do the subtraction here. So if these work, if you have these set, so you have the day, the month, and the year, you could just construct this is actually an integer. You could say like the, uh, you could just say today is, and this is why like on our videos, I typically structure things like this anyway. You could just say YYY plus MM plus DD like this, right? So instead of the stupid American way of doing things with like month, day, year, which is insane, doing year, month, day as our structure makes sense because we're going from largest to smallest. So you should either go smallest to largest or largest to smallest, not just mix and match however you feel like it. But then you can have the birth date the same way. So you can structure the birth date to be BYYY plus BMM plus BDD. Okay. We don't want these to be strings though. We want these to be numbers. So I would make sure that these become numbers somehow. Okay. So, so that logic I would work on. Okay. So I don't know if that's the part you were having trouble with, but that's the route I would go about on that, because just create a number, and then you could just subtract those numbers, and that will give you the number in days, and then you can do a modulus on that to arrive at the age. So hopefully that helps. Otherwise, I can go further on that. But the other piece was, did you have your the button actually activating that? So after that, what did you say I have to do? Okay, so so you're going to need to convert the birth date into where did we go there? Okay, so you'll need to convert the today date into a numeric. So it's going to have the form. Let's call this today date, maybe. It's going to have the form like today is 0401, right? And like birth date is going to have the form like Max's birthday is like that. And then you could just subtract that. Subtract one from the other, and then you'll have the number of days and then when you have the number of days, you can figure out how many years that is, and then you could say the age in years. And you could give additional information too. You could say the number of the number of days, weeks, months, years. You could show all that and be really nerdy about it. So does that help? I don't know if that's what you're specifically stuck on, is the math part, or if it was the button part. So that's the math part. I have to activate the button. Okay, so the button part is easy, much easier than that. So, so basically, you have your button. So let's look at where you have your button here. Okay, so you have calculate age. So we'll just copy that. Okay, and then we'll go back to here. And let's just add a... Oops. So we're just going to add the by ID here. And add the, so this was from the HTML, the ID that you gave that button. Okay. Oops. Yeah, so calc age. I don't know. Something like that, maybe. You can format that however you want. And then, what did we call our function here? Was it calculate age? Okay. So, calculate age. Okay. So then when we click that, it will call that calculate age function. So, so that calculate age function has to do the calculations and display it. It has to somehow do both of those things. Okay. So let's just put a quick note in there. Yep. Okay. So, document write age. Okay. So, I mean, you are kind of doing that, I guess. So, actually, let's just wipe this out. We're going to say, is okay, something like that. Oh, we don't want document write. We want error.log, right? So let's just let's see. Number today. Let's see. So are we reading in the birth date? Birth date. Okay. So let's just might as well get the birth date in here. Date. Okay. And then I'm going to assume that this stuff works. I don't know that you have this correct, but let's just assume that it does. Okay, then we can construct these just fine. Okay, so something like that. Okay, so I suspect that there's still some issues with your calculations here, but or with pulling the actual numbers out. And if you get stuck on that, let me know. We can look at that some more on Monday. So I will zip that up and send that off to you. Anybody else have any issues with anything? That should help move you forward at least a little bit, Sarah. If I declare a function inside another function, can I use that function as a button function? You can, but you'd have to put the listener inside of the original function as well. So I wouldn't do it that way. I think that you're adding unnecessary complexity, probably. I guess I'd have to see it, but I would keep my functions as I would keep my structure as simple as possible. So I would I put all my listeners at the bottom, because I just keep all my my main programming logic at the bottom, and I have all my other functions that I create above that. So and I try to keep it kind of simplified. So if somebody else comes along and looks at the program, they don't have to jump around trying to find things too much. But a certain amount of that is necessary no matter what you do. So, but in some fashion, yes, you can do it that way. Create every save. Well, I mean, we have so so address book has some variables, and address book contains contacts, so it has access to contacts variables and methods. So, because it contains contacts, it has access to all of that stuff. So you should have access to everything you need. So if you call from, down here, way at the bottom, we're calling, this is all part of address book in here. Because I think this was, yeah. So when we create a new address book, I'm just creating these as listeners of address book. So so it can access these methods in address book. We could also just put these down here. I sometimes do it that way, and then just call, address book dot download JSON. But then download JSON has access to all of the stuff that contact has access to if we need it. Okay, good. Okay, so all right, let's I'll poll the audience a little bit. Anybody not want to look at Space Game? You got too much on your plates? I feel like you guys might have enough on your plates. I'm happy to hold that off until Monday if you guys aren't ready. But if you are, we can take a quick look at that. Okay for now, haha. Okay, so that's one vote for Space Game. Yes. Any no's? Same. Okay. Okay. I'm fine either way. All right. Sounds like we'll do Space Game. Anybody say no? Are there any no's? Still a bit to work on a previous. Okay, so that's a no. I'm going to take that as a no from Tim. So we have one no. would be a no. Yep. Yep. Okay. So mostly yeses. So I'm going to split the difference. Okay. I will give you an overview, and then we'll go more in depth on Monday. I will upload the code so you can take a look at it at your leisure, but um, I want to give you as much time as I can on these things. Okay. So, all right. So, space game. So I don't want you to be overwhelmed, but I'm actually going to split the